We are calling on all media houses to repentance, to sweet leaning, or at least be a fair listener and questioner. You must question the lies of the anti-marijuana folks scientifically and religiously. We are ready to face off with anyone who thinks marijuana should be criminalized. Western media houses repented before their politicians, but will the African media houses do similarly, sincerely, and promptly? I am taxing you on all fronts, but more so on medical marijuana. I want every media house to do their own research on medical marijuana and engage at least 100 doctors, depending on the size of your respective countries. Ask and share your research information with licensed doctors. Please do not vaguely report some doctors are for while others oppose medical marijuana. We want specifics. That is 70, 80, or 90% of the engaged medical professionals believe in marijuana's medical powers. XYZ percentage believe it is overdue and demands receipts from those who oppose immediate legalization of medical marijuana. Without this respect, some doctors and politicians may still need re-education. Dr. Sanjay Gupta of CNN is a highly respectable medical professional. He admits he and many doctors were misled through unverified questionable research on marijuana. But how many of our doctors are humble enough to relearn the truth or do their own direct patient research? With that survey data and your research information, you can then move a step further, confront every minister and every member of parliament on their position regarding medical marijuana and demand immediate actions if you truly care about the sick. WHO reportedly wrote to health ministries recommending medical marijuana, but we know many politicians sadly care about votes than their citizens, including the sick. Is it the sons and daughters of the good or bad people who will bring medical marijuana to the poor? Are you supposed to be proud or ashamed that your son or daughter chooses truth and kindness to usher in alternatives? We are not imposing medical marijuana on anyone. We are simply saying the sick Gambian or Saudi child with epilepsy or other diseases deserve legal medical marijuana like the German or New Yorker. Universal law demands we seek it for every country. Excuses must be confronted, and asking more time against the sick to appease the cowards is not intelligent but cruel. Any person or politician who opposes medical marijuana is cruel, and we believe the cruel should be measurably confronted. The alleged side effects of natural marijuana must be contrasted with the conventional and traditional medicines. Let the patient and doctors decide, not the politicians. Ask them what is their stand on CBD and other beneficial extracts, or should we just order and consume, not produce? It may be important to clarify that medical marijuana can be the same regular marijuana in the streets or extracts from the plants. It will depend on the person and type of problem we are trying to cure or mitigate. When legalized, patients can cite for the most suitable strains and keep getting the exact strain and dose. So it is often impossible to many were criminalized. The list of qualifying conditions or diseases for medical marijuana varies between countries, states, and provinces. However, there are hundreds of conditions where marijuana reportedly helps. We do not have the time to list them all, but we will gladly provide them to the Ministry of Health and any relevant authority. The list includes various types of cancer, arthritis, HIV/AIDS, epilepsy and seizures, glaucoma, etc. How many Senegambians and Africans suffered from the mentioned conditions and denied the blessed plan that is helping millions? Hemp seeds may help prevent how many diseases, and we often claim that prevention is better than cure. As Uganda and other countries sign over $10 and $15 billion export contracts, we must understand those contracts will not always be there, but readily available for the brave pioneering countries. The whole 2020 Gambia government budget is just around $2 billion. So how much more can we do with 10, 15, or $20 billion export deal? Or do we prefer to export alcohol, juju, and what else in not less than even $1 million per product? Besides export contracts, we can have our own companies. Our tourism industry will benefit in different ways. Agriculture will benefit in many factors, including how hemp naturally replenishes the soil. Or do we prefer to take loans to subsidize fertilizer and loan it to the poor farmers? We deny them natural fertilizer, then loan them questionable fertilizer with side effects, and ask even the non-farmers to help pay for it. I don't think that is smart or kind. Many other ministries will benefit, but time won't allow detailed discussions. However, we will write to all ministries and asking all the ministers and other relevant authorities to invite us for possible collaboration or discussion, questions they may have, we will gladly answer them. To our religious leaders, since Islam is the main religion of our primary target, that is Gambia, we must limit our sensitization due to the limited space and time. Chapter 17, verse 80 to 82. I read, وَقُلْ رَبِّي أَدْخِلْنِي مُدْخَلَ صِدْقٍ وَأَخْرِجْنِي مُدْخَلَ صِدْقٍ وَاجْعَلْنِي مِنْ لَدُنْكَ سُلْطَانًا نَصِيرًا وَقُلْ جَاءَ الْحَقُّ وَزَهَقَ الْبَاطِلُ إِنَّ الْبَاطِلَ كَانَ زَهُوقًا وَنُنَزِّلُ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ مَا هُوَ شِفَاءٌ وَرَحْمَةٌ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَلَا يَزِيدُ الظَّالِمِينَ إِلَّا خَسَارًا. These beautiful verses seem to be respected by Christians and atheists, and it's extremely hurtful because it comes to us directly as Muslims. The verses basically says, "Say, oh my Lord, let my entry be by the gate of truth, and my exit be by the gate of truth. And grant me from your presence and authority to help me." And say, truth has come, and falsehood must vanish away. Surely falsehood is ever bound to vanish. And we reveal of the Quran that which is healing and mercy to believers, though it increases only ruin to evildoers. These are some amazing verses of prayers, intuitive instructions, declarations, and beyond. Besides chapter 103, here truth is also identified as a super good deed, not a regular good deed. Then it says an authority to help me with products and or services. Well, marijuana is indeed a helpful product to millions of people who may or may not acknowledge it, as chapter 93 verse 11 says. وَأَمَّا بِنِعْمَةِ رَبِّكَ فَحَدِّثْ. وَأَمَّا بِنِعْمَةِ رَبِّكَ فَحَدِّثْ, which basically means proclaim the blessings of your Lord. If marijuana saves you or your relative from pain or may do, you have a responsibility to proclaim it. Do not fear the so-called authorities or social stigma that may follow you. Similarly with happiness, and always be careful of fear, greed, and arrogance. It also teaches us the recitation, the Quran, will be a blessing to some, but cause to others. May it be a blessing to us. The vague term evildoers in these verses must be interpreted as those who interpret the recitation in fear, greed, and arrogance to justify their ignorance, lies, and cruelty against their fellow human beings. We may not stand as guardians over each other, but as advisors to each other, at least on personal choices. Although debating whether if marijuana is permissible in Islam or not is important, more important is debating if marijuana consumption or production is punishable in Islam, because not everything forbidden is punishable, especially by a secular leaning judiciary, while sparing drunkards, bleachers, gamblers, and other sinful folks. Throughout the recitations, there are examples of personal sins, but not a single sign of recommended punishment of personal sins like idol worshipping, eating pork, drinking alcohol, bleaching, etc. This did not happen by mistake. Such sins or mistakes should be judged by the Lord, not by humans, especially questionable human beings. So let us legalize or decriminalize it and gently debate God's standing on it with patience, and patience. My leaning is marijuana is a blessed product of the Lord, similar to the recitation. He will bless whom he wills with marijuana, and he will chastise the evildoers in and outside of marijuana. May we be among those whom he blesses with and beyond marijuana. Those who claim marijuana is forbidden are often quoting a verse in chapter 5, verse 93. The exact word used there is gambling, which means alcohol. If you go to any Arab country and ask them what is the meaning of gambling, everybody will tell you alcohol. But they choose to interpret it from the root words, which can mean intoxicant. Like I said in one of my YouTube videos, titled Islam and Marijuana, the Facts. Root words are sometimes essential in interpreting the recitation, but they can be equally dangerous. Even where we choose to interpret a word by the root word, we have the responsibility to first translate it and then interpret it with explanations. Also, consistency is extremely crucial. When the word gambling is used in positive terms, they interpret it as alcohol. But the same word in negative sense will be translated and interpreted as intoxicants. You have heard alcohol will be in heaven, but how many times did you ever hear intoxicants will be in heaven? In all honesty, I do not think we need a book to understand intoxicants are bad for us. But the very term intoxicant is debatable. How many conventional drugs have alcohol or what some may consider intoxicant or minor mind-altering effects? I do not consider marijuana as an intoxicant, but a detoxicant, at least to whom the Lord wills. Alcohol is an intoxicant by virtue of its ties to hundreds of diseases. Marijuana is a detoxicant by virtue of its ties to hundreds of cures, pain mitigations, and other benefits that are closer to the truthful and kind Lord, not the liar and cruel one. On a final note for our religious folks, chapter 55, verse 10 says, "Wallah dawawadda ana," which literally means we have spread the earth for the cattle, in brackets, all creatures with spirit. Here is one perfect example where root word is super beneficial, because anam generally means cattle. But the root word and common sense tells us we are essentially part of the earth, at least for now. This verse is a verse of peace, and that contradicts those who claim the earth is just for their limited understanding of Muslims or non-marijuana users. The verse is ahead of many scientists who are now confirming how the ecosystem works on earth, except the most of them want to extinct marijuana. The hypocrisy by some of our religious leaders will be exposed through leaning and a lot more by the Lord. Some of them claim to oppose both alcohol and marijuana, but how often and strongly do they preach against marijuana versus alcohol? They have not picked up their cutlasses or votes against those who legalize alcohol. So how will they react to marijuana legalization? I renew my challenge. Let us take 100 patients of arthritis as example. Give them 1 week or month of conventional Western medicine, similar time on your best Marabu medicine, then similar time on my selected marijuana strains. The patients and our eyes will tell us which medicine is more blessed by the Lord of today and forever. This could be our first marijuana research. To our women, cultural leaders and beyond, sometimes fear and overprotection can cause human beings to choose cruelty in the name of culture, intelligence, kindness, etc. Female circumcision, FGM, is a perfect example of such. So we must learn to respect nature as much as reasonably possible and use numbers instead of vague assumptions. Nothing can be further from the truth that all Gambians, or 75% of us, will be on marijuana if legalized. Less than 30% of adults are using marijuana in most places where it is legal, including China, Canada, Seattle, etc. Let's stop being cruel to marijuana users. Does not mean the Lord will allow everyone into marijuana. The women and elders of Gina are largely non-direct consumers of marijuana. They just produce it, with exceptions. The young men there seem to be using it fairly responsibly, and they do not seem to have any higher mental rate problems than us. So criminalization raises the possibility of substance abuse and other ills. Legalization raises the number of consumers, but lessens the dangers and gives us the opportunities to help the poor directly and indirectly. We can use our minds or send a team of professionals and politicians to study the differences between us and the territories where marijuana is legal. Like every good, the lying and cruel folks will claim we are too different, that better we continue on the cruel and ignorant path of criminalization. We fully understand some people may abuse marijuana, just like people abuse sugar, salt, and many products. We believe criminalization encourages abuse than smartly regulated legalization. To our drug enforcement agencies and beyond, those who make and enforce bad laws are all guilty. You cannot hide behind the curtain that we are just enforcing laws. You are enforcing bad laws. You have an obligation to at least secretly advise the government that it is wiser to legalize at least marijuana. Chapter 67 of the Quran urges us to use our eyes, ears, conscience, and faculties, or we may deserve help. We do not forgive you any longer. Some of us will imprecate against you, and some will fight back by any means. Even animals understandably fight back to avoid undeserved pain. Some of you will spare your relatives, likely take bribes from some, and hide behind the law to justify your cruelty on others. Criminalization may serve your pockets, but it is costing the government from different fronts and costing our society beyond many can imagine. As fellow Gambians, we are saddened to see one of your officers was allegedly assaulted, but we are even much more saddened by the hundreds and thousands of relatively peaceful Gambians you hunt and intimidate every day, daily. Like Chapter 103 advises us, it is time to escort each other to truth and patience. We can have reasonable regulations, but let the Lord police marijuana. We can hire your staff to be advisors, licensed growers, and many other opportunities that will serve Gambia, Africa, and the world. Otherwise, expect more assaults, insults, implications, etc. from others, not necessarily our peaceful organization. We have seen how you lobby for weapons to essentially harm our children over mainly marijuana. Now you are asking for expensive vehicles, fuel, repair costs, etc. for mainly against marijuana folks, or to visit your money-worshipping girlfriends and wives. Then come court costs and imprisonment costs. Why do we have to keep spending millions against marijuana to make families cry when we can make billions through marijuana and hemp to make people smile and laugh? You are sadly blind to the stupidity and cruelty of our marijuana laws. Wake up, or you may be raised blind on Judgment Day. Prison is not only a hard place, but a dangerous place. It's a place where we should not send people unnecessarily. It is a place for the cruel and big liars, not the ignorant, the mistaken, or the blessed ones. You can focus on the few that seem to be rehabilitated at prisons, but many more become much worse in prison. Besides the direct danger marijuana prisoners face, their loved ones are traumatized. That stress contributes to sicknesses against all of us, possible retaliation and hatred against government and society for inaction or mild actions. As more people understand how harmless and or beneficial marijuana is, some may react beyond the reasonable, and we will continue a cycle of unjust hurting of each other until when? Diminishing trust against government is very dangerous. As more people conclude that our governments are certainly lying about marijuana, they will ask how many other things are government lying about. Some will say maybe crack, cocaine, and others are not harmful or as harmful as government claims. Then they may try it to their destruction. A smart law and smart folks will then conclude government lies and unnecessary cruelty contribute to drug abuse. We want the United Nations and responsible world leaders to think and try to rectify the damage unnecessary criminalization of marijuana and other things is doing. Thus in danger of arrest, criminal records, other problems, or even imprisonment. You are literally paying for some corrupt agencies to hunt the ones you claim to love. Paying court costs, imprisonment costs, stress costs, etc. When you are sitting with smoking friends, they may arrest all of you, seize properties and other wrongs. By becoming an active member, you will be saving yourself money that can be spent on hospitals, educations, and others that benefit us all. Also remember, hemp seeds are highly nutritious seeds. You can do your own research on the internet that can serve us all as natural food supplements towards balanced diet. There are countless other products to be made through hemp to benefit us all. Time matters. The pioneers of any good will be rewarded higher in and beyond this world. Some countries are already signing multi-billion-dollar marijuana contracts while we are taking roads until when? To those who may lobby or a heavy crackdown against us, or may blame it on Barra's leniency or other faulty accusations, our public relations officer, Mr. Pamudumo, reported the call for legalization on radio during Jammeh's rule. My very self, I have countless verifiable evidence on the internet calling on President Jammeh and other world leaders to legalize marijuana. So we are far from cowards. We will fight back where need be, and we hope the Lord will protect and bless us than He did during Jammeh's rule. If there is a reward for opening opportunities, then there is likely a punishment for barring opportunities, especially where it was due to politics to appease hypocrites and cowards against nature. So those who directly hurt, indirectly hurt, directly and indirectly deny due opportunities, they will stand up to demand their dues. And remember, these are sins and dues between creatures, not just between you and God. We must confront their number one lie or fear. They claim marijuana causes mental illnesses. To all, some, many, few. So let us deny it to all. A claim must be substantiated with numbers, professional evidence, or tests. A smart journalist or person must ask, what is the ratio of mental illnesses allegedly caused by marijuana? Is it 1 in every 1,000, 5 or 10,000 marijuana users may suffer mental illnesses? Is this alleged mental illnesses only for Senegalians, blacks, Africans, etc.? Or why are millions of white and black marijuana users in the West having what percentage of mental illnesses? They don't complain about it. Besides family claims, what tests were ever done to confirm which marijuana strains may cause mental problems? Because many new scientific tests confirm some marijuana strains may actually boost brain cells and help mental health. Where the alleged 1 or 5% with mental issues using other drugs or alcohol, but we still want to blame it on marijuana only? What percentage of our mentally ill folks are due to wicked marabouts, due to karma, other drugs, alcohol, broken hearts, financial and other stress-related problems, etc., versus marijuana? Will legalization possibly reduce some alleged marijuana-related mental sicknesses? Or for how long should we follow the failed marijuana criminalization path? The Senegambian who never used marijuana, never did a single research on marijuana, is supposed to be the most trusted marijuana expert to form our marijuana policies. Second on the line is the Senegambian who barely used it as teenager, fairly survived it, but wants to criminalize marijuana to our children, our sinful and responsible adults. Fearing an epileptic child who uses marijuana may go insane is absurd and worsened by ignoring the possible side effects of conventional pharmaceutical products and questionable maribos. Feel free to fear and abstain from marijuana, but if you insist all of us should fear it, then you may be slightly insane, over-fearful, or arrogant. If you insist we should be punished for marijuana, then you are grossly arrogant and cruel, and you must also answer what ratio of marijuana users may never have mental problems. With and without legalization, I admit some folks will abuse marijuana as people abuse sugar, salt, etc. But when will you open your other eyes and admit the facts and alternatives? Or do you think that one eye and cruelty to rule by fear is the best way on marijuana than other alleged evils? Never forget the millions of marijuana users who are holding responsible jobs and running businesses. We threaten them to hide in Africa, but the other continents are opening their eyes and accepting many of us can be harmless neighbors, lovers, and co-workers. A final note to officials: we understand you may have fears, but please consult us to show you the way out. Some obstacles are nothing but in your minds or lack of a greater mind to show you the solutions. If President Barrow, Macky Sall, or XYZ pardons 10 prisoners, families usually get happy and the nation praise them. So if we free thousands or millions of non-violent prisoners, or more specifically marijuana folks, many families will smile. Some cowards may frown, but time will erase their fears. Marijuana-related prisoners are in many ways political prisoners because the laws are largely due to political miscalculations than scientific facts or concerns. We are not bringing marijuana in. It was here before you and I were born. We are simply urging to stop the unnecessary cruelty and allow people to seek the divine benefits. The parents who are paying for their children to go to Canada, who are praying for their children to go to Canada, where it is illegal, should realize the limitation of parenting adults are far than nearby. As billions of dollars pour in and our youth get employment in and beyond hemp and marijuana, it will reduce the need to travel and unnecessary fear by some elders. By the way, we also have Gambians who can extract THC for medical purpose to kickstart our medical marijuana. We are also urging more Gambians and Africans in the diaspora to join the hemp and marijuana industries to learn and transfer knowledge. Those who reject truth were warned in the recitation, so let us embrace learning, walking, and having fun in the most harmless way. May the Lord give us sweet victory and defeat our enemies, even if it means to proportionately cause them. May the Lord bless Soul of Trinity. Let's learn, let's walk, let's have fun. Thank you all. May the Lord bless as many as possible.
You know, we do work with the security forces as well in terms of various ministries. So I thought that, let me just make that clear. We are going to be the special purpose vehicle, and so don't worry about it, the execution of the whole procedure. We will be there, and we have the pros and the experts and stuff with him. We have doctors as well, lawyers, who will be with us the next time that we're going to have a press conference. Right. On my left here, we have Karabosa. Karamo is going to speak to us in Mandinka, because yes, if there is time, yes. Yes, if you have questions, and for the benefit of the newspapers or the TVs that does local news, they can benefit from that. Right? So on my left also we have Dr. Joe, and briefly I will give Dr. Hambo.
Is a plant that God has given to us. It has many wonderful properties. I cannot and I will not duplicate what all has been said. It's been pointed out to you, all of the benefits. In America, I'm almost 70, and I've experienced so many things dealing with this plant in terms of people that have been incarcerated for up to 50 years for a joint, to later have it legalized. Now, there are many countries that are ahead of the Gambia, and apparently there might be some that don't want Gambia to move ahead. But here we have a wonderful opportunity to take what you've been given, a God-given plant with multiple properties, to be used not only for our health benefits, but also to help our soil, to help our building materials, to help our mind, and to help us as a people. We've had many things taken away from us. Things that were taken away in the name of deceit, in the name of putting us down, in the name of keeping us from being the best we can be. Well, I can say, very confidently, along with all of the science research, that the plant has some medicinal properties that should be used more aggressively to help us with our health. And I will do what I can in terms to bring about this wonderful, important measure that should be given. My goodness gravy. Other countries are doing it. Other countries are building up their infrastructure, using the money to do so with something that is God-given to you. And yes, we have the guidelines, as you see, so there won't be that type of abuse that some people are concerned about. But keep in mind, our bodies are wonderfully built by the Almighty, and the herbs were given to us for the healing of the nations. So let's take advantage of our God-given talents, as well as what has been given to us by the Almighty Allah. So for that, I ask you to open your hearts and your minds. The information is here. It is clear. The only question you have to ask yourself, why is it someone wants us to not use something that is good for our bodies?
Oh, thank you very much.
Ask for everything. But for this one, we're going to compete. And we're just urging the government to work with us. We your children, we your brothers, we your family members. So we don't have to let this just slide, let other countries benefit in it, and Gambia while we sit and watch. Just look at our industry. The only time money is flowing is when tourists are here. When it's off season, this place is like a ghost town. Youths go out and beg. every youth in the industry thinking that if you don't have a tobacco, your life won't be successful, which is so sad. And we live with these tobaccos in Babylon. We know that they're just human beings like us. You know, but when we start this production, start materializing this, I can promise you that, Mr. President, the employment we're going to generate is going to be more than the one the government is generating. Just like the artist in Bilkama said, and factory killing 1,000, even one plant, one factory that hire 10,000 youths is not in Gambia. So how are we going to compete? Pay the youths $5,000 every week. Whether you see they will be sitting drinking attire. No, $5,000, that's like $100. Pay it to the youths. They will leave the attire there and they will go walk for you. Because $5,000 is every week, you check that in a month. I mean, they're going to be happy about that. In Gambia, we are underpaid, underfeed, underinformed. Everything is under. Like he said, we don't have enough time. My name is Steven Silva. I'm a grower from Detroit, Michigan. And we're ready to take this to the next level. If any country is benefiting, we want Gambia to be part of it. And for the lawmakers, for the drug squad, for the religious leaders, we are not here to scare you. We want a dialogue. We want to talk to you people. We want you to understand this. Wow, like we said, we got oil for you. Yeah, we got something that can cure that. We get something for that. You know, all is old. If old people is using it in America or Europe, why old people can use it in Gambia? You know, and I'm talking to the world today, I'm talking to Africa. We have to wake up. You know, we have to wake up and develop ourselves, develop our countries, and put the blueprint down for our children tomorrow, for our grandkids tomorrow, because this life is not about us. We'll be out of here in no time. So the next generation is going to be responsible. So, like I said, I thank the media. Thank you for keeping them honest. Without you, information will be out, you know. Greetings to the members of parliament again. Mr. President, I hope you see this. And we just want the government to work with us, hear us out, and we take this step by step. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
Is my experience with marijuana and my experience in the United States. I tried it again, it was similar, so I left it. But why in the United States, it's likely due to the criminalization of marijuana through drug tests and all whatnot. So I felt like there is a need to sensitize the people that if people can work perfectly fine in factories and other places in Canada without problems, then I see no reason why every little job, even a bargain job in the United States, sometimes they may require you to take a drug test. I see that as an unnecessary test, as an implicit way of denying people working opportunities. So my whole fight, if you look at some of my early YouTube videos, I was not actually leaning on marijuana. I considered it like a negative thing. In some of my old videos, I called the marijuana users mistaken people. But even at that time, I was calling for its legalization because I already knew that it's not very harmful, and I already did my research. I know that alcohol was ultimately dangerous. I did my research. I understood that the main reason why it was criminalized is due to money. So that was basically my motivating factor. In regards to your brain cell question, I'm not sure if I got it right, but what I'm basically trying to tell you is that there are some research that have confirmed that some cells grow when you utilize some certain marijuana strains. Marijuana is a very complex plant. There are marijuana strains that can make you hungry, whereas there are marijuana strains that can keep you full. There are marijuana strains that seems to affect your brain cells. There are marijuana, especially if you are young. There are other ones that tend to boost your brain cells, renew your brain cells, especially if you are old. So there are so many different parts of marijuana. You cannot just claim marijuana is good for everybody or is bad for everybody. You know, it depends on the strains and the person. What will happen is, when we discover that, let's say, strain XYZ helps brain cells, we're not going to ask people to be using marijuana. It will, as an adult, we will be laying the facts out there and everyone will decide for themselves. So if you want to use marijuana and you think that you want it to boost your brain cells, we will recommend that this strain and this strain seems to be helping brain cells on some people. And like any other medication, there will be some kind of numbers, especially when it is legalized. We will say, for example, 70% of those who use it seems to have some brain wash, self-repairs. And that's basically how it will be. It will be basically just advice, and you will have to try your own, and God will decide whether it helps you or it doesn't help you. It will be depending, like I said, it varies from person to person, but there are studies that confirm that. So like other people are utilizing it for different purposes, there might be some few people. There are so many other plants, not just marijuana, that seems to boost brain cells. So there will be options there. But our fight is not necessarily that. We are just basically trying to show the benefits and that it's not as harmful as people claim. That is basically our fight. So once it is legalized, that's when we will kind of get into all of that. And I did remember one of your other questions. That was the epilepsy things, diabetes, I think, something like that. The same question. Okay. Go ahead. Selling marijuana at this particular moment, I am interested in fighting for it to be legalized.
Mr. Guy, do you have a question? Yes, maybe.
To your speech, you have mentioned about the importance of marijuana medically, but what I want to understand from what you said is the decriminalization of marijuana. Does it involve the smoking of marijuana? Do you also want to legalize marijuana, the smoking of marijuana? And also, the second question is, in our society right now, you have mentioned in your speech that marijuana can be abused like sugar and any other thing. But in our society right now, we have seen children like below 15 years old abusing marijuana the way it should not be used. This makes our parents scared because many times when they start smoking marijuana, we see to it that they start stealing, they start insulting and stuff, some negative things attached to it. That is the truth. Understand? So I don't know, how are you, what is DOC, your group doing to reach to those people, those small children using marijuana the wrong way?
And the youth cannot see even the smokers, what they do, so they can copy them. When it's decriminalized, this is what it costs. But when we legalize it, it's going to be different thing. Because you never see nobody filling a cooler with beers, going on the street selling beers. Anybody want to drink alcohol, go to the bars. So if it is regulated, any smoker will go to coffee shop, and it will be regulated, and coffee shop will not sell to minors. When you catch selling to minors, your license will be revoked. Okay? This is what we want to do with the children and the system. Is that okay? Thank you.
But I want to know, how are you going to reach those children right now? Because in our society currently...
Control. When it's legalized, it will have control, and people will get access and license to operate their coffee shop and sell their weed for smokers. But smoking is not the essence of this thing. For this group is like for export purpose. Because we have a company standby right now who are ready to come to the Gambia here. They only deal with marijuana. They make a lot of products from marijuana. They make foods, they make cookies, they make animals food. You can see this for horses. They make a lot of stuff, and they want to come to this country and operate in this country just because the government is denying. That's why we want to push this. We want to take all these youths out of this street, take them to the provinces where we have our farms, and we make them to work and have economic growth for Gambia. You understand that? The essence is not just for smoke. The essence is for export and recreational purpose. There are a lot of benefits in marijuana. See, this my bag is made out of marijuana. This is hemp bag. And a lot more. You cannot name them. You understand? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, after 18 years, even in America, you are not allowed to buy alcohol until you're 21. For cigarettes, you can buy it at the age of 18, but not alcohol. So this is where it comes. We don't have a regulation. We are not going to do it. We are not going to do this without the authorities. You know, we are working right now, currently, with the Drug Control Act, 2005. So everything that is within that parameter, that we're going to use that. Because of the fact that, you know, it has to be controlled. Otherwise, you know, we can't get the benefit of it. It's just like flogging a dead horse. So, any other question? Hawa?
Yes, I have one.
Good afternoon.
I just want to ask, what mechanism do you guys want to put in place to sensitize people on cannabis? Because the layman like me will tell you that cannabis is a no-go area. So do you have mechanisms to put that into consideration to also tell people like to use it professionally? And my second question is, do you guys at any point try to engage the line ministries, that is the Ministry of Justice and then the Ministry of Health, with concrete reasons why we should legalize cannabis in the Gambia?
Ministries that are you know, relevant to this, to say. So I think you know, by now that those letters will be in their offices, because we were waiting on our registration to be legal. So once the registration is done, then we can progress to the next level, which was to inform them, have this press conference as well for sensitizing or rolling out the red carpet for DOC 2020. So regarding what was your first question? Yeah, mechanism, yeah, thank you very much. The mechanism that is in place really is just to go around the country to sensitize. Using the media, inviting you guys to start. You know, we had some few programs, interviews with different TVs, Family Network and Paradise TV. But that was just the starting point. So we felt that it's incumbent for us to invite all the media houses, you know, to at least kickstart it from there, roll the red carpet, you know, for everybody to know what's going on. Then we're not going to stop there. We want to embark on a nationwide tour whereby we'll be going from region to region, you know, and sensitize, talk to the people, let them understand, you know, what we are really, you know, talking about here, the economic viability, the game changer. So yes, we are going to be working with the security forces as well. We're going to write to them, really, especially the Drug Law Enforcement Agency. We will definitely work with them, because there are drugs here, the hard drugs, and the pills to control. We will work with them on that. Yes, by decriminalizing cannabis, really.
The benefits that people could get from decriminalization of cannabis. But can you please help elaborate on, you mentioned a few sectors like tourism, agriculture, health, and you buttressed more on health than the other sectors. Maybe you could help us with the benefits that agricultural sector can get from it and the tourism sector. Thank you.
30,000 youths to work in the farm, and they will not be underpaid. They will be paid fairly. So when it comes to the agricultural sector, that's going to create a lot of employment, because once the plant is grown from start to finish, you don't throw nothing away. You use everything. You use the stick, you use the leaf, you use everything. So all those, the way you use it is, you have to hire people to purify that, the people who are going to trim it, the people who are going to chop up the stems, you know, the people who are going to be boiling over there for the butter. So it's a lot of employment involved, not just for us, but for everybody in Gambia. And as you see now, the agriculture in Gambia is dead. It's dead. It's only private sectors. It's only big wigs owning farms, foreigners. Those are the ones making millions, you know. They grow it here, purify it here, and they send it out. They send it out to England, to Europe, to their supermarkets. They don't even leave it here. And then all the money they make, they go with it. Sister, there is not even one playground here in the whole Gambia. One playground for your kids to walk around in the park and play. Not even one. With all these foreigners we have here making millions, not even one playground park for you and your kids to walk around and have a life. So we have to rethink this. So when we go to that sector, it's going to create a lot of employment, and it's not going to be you sitting down idling, or it's going to create employment. I can mention that. Thank you.
It will Anybody who's going to be issued license, to grow, cultivate marijuana, will also be growing, the agricultural that we need here to eat, to sustain ourselves. So it's not like, you go outright for 100% marijuana cultivation, but yeah, maybe 50-50. We'll try to strike a balance, whether it's 60-40 or 50-50. But it's not marijuana cultivation all the way. So this is why, this is where, the special purpose vehicle, will be at play. That's DOC 2020. We'll be making sure of that. We'll be vetting, the growers. We'll induct them, to show them, what actually is needed out there, in the foreign market. So virtually, this will help agriculture. This will put a foundation, the foundation that you ladies use. It will use a makeover to the agricultural industry, because really and truly, it's dilapidated. Even our cash crop, our main cash crop, is groundnut. We are even having problems selling it here in the Gambia. They are taking the best groundnut, export it, and leave us with the aflatoxin. Right now we are having, from everywhere, they're giving directives for people to be very careful with the peanut butter that we have here, decade. This is all aflatoxin, because for the simple reason that the good groundnut is being exported, and we are left with the ones that will kill us, destroy our kidneys. So yes, agriculture will be boosted I tell you, the agricultural minister will come to us, will give us a certificate and thank us for doing that. Tourism, listen, come on, look at this is tourist season. We are in the middle of the tourist season. Where are the tourists? They don't want to come here and buy these Gambian no problem t-shirts or wraparounds. No, they bought that 30 years ago, 40 years ago, thinking, man, no, that will not bring them here. They've been buying it. They want to come here to go to a coffee shop, to sit down in a coffee shop like they go to a bar and spend their money. Some of you go to Holland. People go to weekend. You drive from England to Holland just to go and have that freedom of sitting down in a coffee shop, bring your spliff or buy a cake or whatever consumable. This is what tourists do. This is where they spend their money. They want freedom. They don't want to be, restricted. So the tourism will be. I don't think even the tourism sector right now, they are ready for decriminalization. Because if that does, we will impose visa. Gambia will not be a visa-free country anymore. We will be imposing visa for people to come here in Gambia. You now tell me, is that not income? Is that not foreign exchange coming here to this country? Is that not economic viability? Is that not, prosperity in our tourism industry? So yes, this is what we are saying, and we are saying it nicely, in a nice way. Does that answer your question?
Sure.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, sir. Please, when moving to the next speaker, can you help us with our mics?
Mics.
Yes,
that's
because
no
if not, we won't have good audio, and if we want to come up, we will distract others.
No, that's
sorry. Can I? Who is the next speaker?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just want to brief you real quick. We know the Gambia drug squad is around, is available. So we're asking you people, if you have any question for us, you are highly welcome. You are our brothers. You are part of this. We work with the law. So if you guys have a question, you're more than welcome.